Antonio Brown has gone out and he has gotten himself a golden mustache. This makes me a little bit nervous, all right? It looks like something out of Willy Wonka. I don't know what Antonio Brown is thinking, deciding to only make his mustache gold. It is an unbelievable look, all right? It looks like something out of Game of Thrones. It looks like something out of Willy Wonka. I don't know what in the world is going on with Antonio Brown's mustache right now, okay? When I see Antonio Brown's mustache, every single fiber of my being is saying, no one can trade for this man and pay him millions of dollars. But when I watch his production, I think, got to make it happen, all right? Adam Schefter came out and said there were 3 teams right now that are the most interested in Antonio Brown. This could obviously change, but this was his report that I think I woke up to on Saturday morning, if I'm not mistaken. He said the 3 teams were the Oakland Raiders, the Washington Redskins, and the Tennessee Titans. I think the Titans make the most sense. Let me explain why. Antonio Brown to the Raiders is a nonsensical move. Only John Gruden would trade a young Amari Cooper that is 7 years younger than Antonio Brown and then use a draft pick to take back a 30-plus-year-old guy. To me, Antonio Brown only makes sense if you think he is the next piece that can help you win a division and get into the playoffs. The Raiders are not close to winning the division. They are the 4th best team in the AFC West right now. They are much closer to a rebuild than they are a redo. Antonio Brown to the Raiders makes no sense. The Redskins are similarly probably going to go out and draft a new young quarterback. If you are going to draft a new young quarterback, then the last thing you want, I believe, is an outspoken wide receiver there to potentially destroy the young quarterback's development. The Redskins trading for Antonio Brown makes no sense to me at all. Of the 3 teams that Adam Schefter mentioned, and there could be other teams that are certainly of note that make sense, I think, beyond a doubt, the Titans make the most sense. Let me explain why. First of all, you have Marcus Mariota now in a 5th year, and you're paying him $20 million a year. He is being paid $20 million a year because the Titans have to decide this year, is he the long-range future of the franchise? Right now, you can make the argument, if you look at the Titans roster, Marcus Mariota has never had a good wide receiver. In fact, you can make the argument that the Titans have never had an elite game-breaking wide receiver in their 20-plus year history as the Tennessee Titans. The best wide receiver the Tennessee Titans have ever had is probably Derek Mason. You could make an argument before he got injured that Kevin Dyson was a big-time wide receiver, but neither of those guys are really close to Hall of Fame level. And Derek Mason is probably the best receiver the Titans have had since they came to Nashville. Not a knock on Derek Mason, but he was, I think, a 4th-round pick. He's a small guy. Nobody changed their game plan based on Derek Mason. The most explosive wide receiver the Titans have ever had is probably Kenny Britt, because he was capable of going off for 200 yards and a half like he did against the Eagles, and then he hurt his knee, and then he couldn't stay out of trouble, and then he kind of fell apart. Corey Davis is in his 2nd year, just finished his 2nd year, going into his 3rd year, top 5 pick. I'm not convinced yet that Corey Davis is going to be an all-pro caliber wide receiver. But if you paired him with Antonio Brown, I think every answer about Marcus Mariota you would know by year 5. You would have Antonio Brown, who is maybe the best receiver, certainly top 3 or 4 wide receiver in the NFL. You'd have Corey Davis, who's a big physical guy that potentially is going to be an all-pro caliber wide receiver. You would have, coming back from an injury and hopefully going to be a lot better again, Delaney Walker. You would have 2 running backs, Derrick Henry, who established that he can be a workhorse back, plus Dion Lewis, who's the small, shifty back out of the backfield. You would have Taylor Lewan, who, if he's being paid accurately, is paid as if he's the best left tackle in the league. You could redo the interior of the offensive line with your 2nd and 3rd round picks. I think for the number 19 overall pick, if you think you are close to being a playoff team that can make a run in the playoffs, Antonio Brown to the Titans actually makes a lot of sense. On top of that, right now you can argue legitimately the Titans are the 4th best team in the AFC South. Assuming the Jags add Nick Foles, which we talked about last week. Andrew Luck coming back healthy. Very good chance Le'Veon Bell is potentially going to end up a Colt. They're going to surround him with better weapons. Got a great offensive line there. Deshaun Watson coming back off of the injury, coming back now for a third year. The Texans with the Demaryius Thomas injury, assuming Will Fuller comes back healthy, have got two really good wide receivers in Will Fuller and obviously DeAndre Hopkins. You can make a strong argument that the Titans are the fourth best team in their own division and that the AFC South is the best division in all of football, and that if you want to win now, you have to be aggressive, incredibly aggressive, in order to put together the talent that makes the most sense. And you have got a somewhat veteran quarterback in his fifth year dealing with Antonio Brown. You've got a relatively small media market in Nashville where everybody's not going to be poring over every little thing that Antonio Brown does. Unlike when you're playing with Pittsburgh, unlike when you're playing in a bigger kind of primary role in a big city. I think all of these make complete sense. All of this militates in favor of, in my opinion, Titans trading number 19 overall pick for Antonio Brown. Get 3 good years out of him. That's better than you would do getting an All-Pro with most number 19 picks. Look at what happened last year with the Titans taking Rashaan Evans. He barely played. And maybe you can say that's a bad pick, but overall, the number 19 pick does not come in his first year and make a tremendous difference to a team's playoff chances. In the entire history of the Titans franchise in Nashville, the only guy I can think of who was a first-round pick that came in and made an immediate difference, the freak Javon Curse. So they've had first-round picks for 20 years. The only guy I can remember coming in as a rookie and being basically unstoppable as a rookie, Javon Curse, and leading a team. Now, Chris Johnson was really good and made a substantial difference as well. Those are probably the 2 best first-round picks in year 1 that I can remember. I think it's worth the risk. I think it makes sense to take that chance.